The sights and sounds of LSU football are officially back in Baton Rouge.
We'll look back at last week's thrilling win against Wisconsin and preview tonight's matchup against Sam Houston State.
It's the Tiger TV Tailgate show, and it starts right now. Hello there, and welcome to the first Tiger TV Tailgate show of the semester, live inside the Manship Building. I'm Morgan Beard alongside Pat Gunther and Johnny Lombardi for this week's show. And guys, I have one question for you. Are you ready for some football or what?
Morgan, we've been waiting all summer for the Tigers to return to Death Valley. The new stadium, the new faces, I can't wait.
And speaking of the Death Valley, the South End Zone expansion is finally complete. We've seen the construction all summer long for the past year or so. Now, Patrick, I want to ask you, what kind of effect does that have on this game, especially for the Bearcats, but also moving forward for the Tigers the rest of this season?
Morgan, I think it's going to have a tremendous impact. They added roughly 10,000 seats to the stadium, already really loud. It just got even louder, and I'm sure that the LSU fans are going to love that.
We had to deal with looking at that ugly construction, all the cranes for a whole season last year and a whole school year. Everything's cleaned up, everything looks pristine. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see it.
And of course, the Tiger faithful, the fans, are going to love it tonight. And speaking of the fans, we're going to send it to our fourth member of the game day crew, Tori Mason, live out there in the thick of the tailgating action. Tori Mason, how's it going out there?
I am doing great out here, Morgan, and by the looks of it, there may be a chance of rain in Death Valley when the Tigers kick off tonight at 6:30. But rain or shine, LSU fans always manage to have a great time at a tailgate. We're about 2 hours from kickoff, and everyone's finally starting to make their way down to Tiger Stadium. Back to you, Morgan.
Thank you, Tori. Appreciate the report. Now, guys, before we get too far ahead on the Sam Houston Bearcats this evening, we've got to talk about the comeback victory down in Houston Texans that the LSU Tigers had over the Wisconsin Badgers last Saturday. Now, Pat, I'll start with you. It was a crazy game. Simply, what stood out to you?
It sure was. It definitely was a crazy game. The thing that stood out most to me, though, was LSU struggled against the run very mightily early on. And with a Heisman Trophy contender like Melvin Gordon, it's hard to stop. But that run defense wasn't what it usually is for the Tigers.
Not at all. Johnny, what about you? He's talking about the run defense. Now, as you know, they shorted up in the second half. But what else? The passing game, the defense, the running backs, what stood out to you?
You know, we saw some trouble for LSU early on with their offensive and defensive lines, and early in the season that can kind of be to be expected. You know, there's a lot of coordination and mesh that has to go into those positions, but the thing I loved about LSU, they made the big plays when they had to. It looked like LSU of old, finding a way to make the big plays when it mattered. That was the biggest thing I saw. You know, the John Diar's big touchdown on 3rd and long, the Traven Durrell 80-yard touchdown pass. LSU made plays when they needed to. The other things like the offensive line, the run game, that'll all come about as the season progresses. But I loved what I saw from LSU. True determination and grit and a really amazing come-from-behind victory.
And like you mentioned, Anthony Jennings, the stat line may not have been the best.
Absolutely.
But like you said, made the plays when it mattered most. Traven Durrell and everyone else on that offensive side of the ball. Yep. But one guy that stood up when it mattered most in the second half, it wasn't Leonard Fournette, it wasn't Terrence McGee. It was the LSU running back, Kenny Hilliard, who stepped up for the Tigers in the second half. And guys, I was there in Houston. Let's take a little bit of a look at no ceilings, Kenny Hilliard. Leonard Fournette, 5-star incoming recruit. Terrence McGee awarded the number 18 jersey. It seems as though every LSU running back made the headlines this offseason except for one. That one, Kenny Hilliard, decided to make the headlines when it mattered most.
Whenever your number is called, you just have to be ready to go in and take off with it and showcase your ability.
And that's what Hilliard did against the 14th ranked Wisconsin Badgers. After a slow start for the whole LSU offense in the first half, it was Hilliard who helped gain the lead and put the game away.
Just what we needed. Veteran running back, veteran guy, leader of our team, and he delivered when we needed him to, and I'm so happy that he did. He deserves it, and he played great.
Hilliard's 100-yard performance in the comeback victory wasn't his first moment in the spotlight, but after sharing the backfield with many talented backs over the years, Hilliard's patience has been put to the test.
All I can do is just focus on me and just come out here daily, work hard, and just stay consistent, man.
He's a real humble guy. I mean, he works hard, so at the end of the day, Coach Frank knows that, and Coach Miles knows that. So once he has his opportunity, he's going to play it like it's his last play.
And along with being humble, Hilliard is grateful for everything that's come his way at LSU.
Being with this team, being with this staff, and just being here at LSU, man, it's going good for me.
Now it remains to be seen what Hilliard's role will be moving forward this season. But for at least one night in the Lone Star State, Kenny Hilliard was the star. For Tiger TV Sports, I'm Morgan Beard. Now, Kenny Hilliard played a crucial role in last week's game, but Johnny, this week Will that be sustained, or are we going to see Leonard Fournette, Terrence McGee show up?
You know, I definitely think Kenny Hilliard can sustain the success. He's obviously the veteran running back, and a lot of people looked at the performances of Leonard Fournette in his first game and Terrence McGee, and people kind of sat there and, you know how Tiger droppings can get, a little overly critical early on, but there was some criticism. But I think that Leonard Fournette's slow start and Terrence McGee's slow start is nothing to scoff at for Tiger fans. It's going to take time for, especially Leonard Fournette. He may be the #1 recruit in the nation, but he's still a freshman coming into LSU. Give him time to develop. I think he's going to do a tremendous job of that in this game and the games following tonight. But I think tonight will be a huge night for especially Leonard Fournette, and obviously you throw Terrence McGee in there, you never know what you're going to get.
Exactly, and we'll talk about that and much more regarding this game, and we'll hear from you, Pat Gunther, after this break. But speaking of a break, it's time for the first break of this semester right here on the Tiger TV Tailgate Show. Stick around. We have plenty of special guests coming right up right after this commercial break.
Welcome back to the Tiger TV Tailgate Show. The LSU gymnastics team has stormed into prominence on campus with back-to-back Super 6 appearances. Tiger TV's Rachel Ochlinski sat down with head coach Dee Bro this week to talk about her favorite aspects of LSU game day, the new facility, and the Lady Tiger season upcoming in January.
Welcome to the Tiger TV Tailgate Show. I'm Rachel Ochlinski here with head gymnastics coach Dee Bro. So how are you feeling today, Coach?
I'm good. I'm ready for a football game.
Really?
It's hot and sunny and just perfect day, and there's so much glare out here. I'm going to leave my glasses on.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right.
I wanted to keep mine on, but I took them off. So how big of a football fan are you?
I'm huge.
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 And what do you mean by that?
Well, I love college football. So, I mean, I love LSU football. I mean, that to me, that's the epitome of sports. However, I watch college football all day.
What I've always wanted to know is how would you compare your own sport that you coach to football? What makes gymnastics so special in a sense of, you know, it doesn't get as much attention as football, but how would you compare it to another
Well,
sport?
I think in proportion to the number of athletes we have on our team and what we do and the number of people that we put in the PMAC, I think that everything is relative. The huge difference is we're an individual sport that competes as a team. They're a team sport that strictly competes as a team. We really harp on the team concept and trying to mesh our athletes together, and a lot of our team philosophy and a lot of what we try to do with our team is around the kids relying on each other and counting on each other as teammates and team members, not so much as individuals. And we've had a tremendous amount of individual success at LSU as far as the accolades that our individual athletes have been able to achieve. But as a team, we feel like the academic component, the athletic component, and the community service component has to be very balanced, and we've been very masterful and very successful at doing that.
Absolutely. Well, I know it's as a team, but as individual, back to like individual players on your team, Lamencia Hall, with her big, media blow up last semester. How do you feel about that? Are you expecting that from other players this year? Or?
Well, you know, Reagan Corville has been a key player for us, competed in the all-around in every event since her freshman year, and my sports information guy will either shake his head yes or shake his head no as to that stat's correct, but to my memory, that's pretty much, you know, how it's been. 4 events, Jessie Jordan, 4 events almost every time she's competed over the last 3 years. So we're definitely relying on our senior class. Lamencia Hall gave us 2 good events last year, balance beam and floor exercise. Getting back in shape and getting to the performance level that she was at last year at the championship and throughout the season is going to be a critical factor in this team's success.
But let's not forget what we're in front of right here. You know, the new facility. Tell us about how excited you're about that and what it's going to bring to the team. And it's 2016?
Well, we are sitting in front of the old parking lot, which is now going to be the site for the new gymnastics training center, and it's going to be state of the art. It's absolutely a dream come true. We've been talking about this and aggressively talking about this, and now we're acting upon it, and Joe Oliva has really led the charge, and General Richard, our Tiger Athletic Foundation, and this has been tied into the bond that we did to do the addition on the football stadium, and the new tennis complex, which you can already see beams going up, the new tennis complex which was tremendously needed. I mean, our tennis team didn't even have an indoor place to train, and they competed indoor. So I mean, it's real, and their locker rooms were pretty deplorable. So, you know, our situation, our gym was very antiquated, to the point that I could say that we had have a lot of training apparatuses and drill things that we do in the gym that aren't safe Isn't that the wonderful sound of construction? That aren't safe. So what this facility is going to do for us is what baseball, the new Alex Box Stadium has done for baseball, and what the tremendous addition to that football stadium does. It's a crown jewel. This is going to be something that we want every athlete, every gymnast in America to aspire to want to train in. We want them to come and see it and visit it, and let the beauty of LSU, let the oak trees and the arches and the incredible buildings, let that speak for itself, and all of our tremendous athletic facilities, and this is going to be another one of those tremendous facilities.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, everybody comes to LSU thinking that this is just a football school, and it's important to point out. Here comes the rain.
Here comes the rain.
It's important.
That's okay. It's not going to rain at kickoff.
Yeah, right. It won't be. But it's important to point out that it's not all about football in these situations where you have something new coming up for gymnastics.
No, I mean, look at baseball. Look at softball. Yeah, hey, let's talk about golf. Yep. They finished 3rd in the country, our men's golf team. 3rd in the country, and our university club is a great venue for them.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Coach Bro, for taking the time to join us. Now we're going to throw it out to Victory Hill, where the Golden Band from Tigerland is making their walk down to Tiger Stadium. Let's take a look at the live shot there at Victory Hill, as there we see the Golden Band from Tigerland walking down Victory Hill. One of the greatest LSU traditions, Morgan, that we have. The band, the cheerleaders, and then the team with Coach Miles walking down the hill. It's one of the great things about LSU.
Oh, there's absolutely nothing like it. You know, being from Oklahoma, I've been there for OU games. I've heard of other people at other colleges. And from what I hear and what I've experienced, there's absolutely nothing like the team, the players, everybody coming down there, especially the band. There's no other thing like it out there. Patrick, I know there's only so many things we can say about it, but I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it?
It really is. It creates such a tremendous sense of community within LSU. Everyone's always down there, you know, jostling for position to get a good look. And it's just a lot of fun. I really, really like it.
And you know, every school has that thing or some things. That's one of LSU's things that they have. That's just one of the special moments on game days or traditions. And you know, it's one of the great things that we love to do on the show is feature the Golden Band coming down. But you know, we really like to thank Coach Didi Bro for that interview coming on. Thank you, Rachel, for doing the interview. We're going to throw it to break here for the Tiger TV Tailgate Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to talk about the opponent today, the Sam Houston State Bearcats.
Welcome back to the Tiger TV Tailgate Show. Now, guys, we're going to turn our attention finally to the opponent here tonight in Death Valley. That is the Sam Houston State Bearcats. But before I ask you guys what the keys to the game for the Bearcats are, head coach Les Miles, in one of his weekly press conferences this week, talked about the Bearcats' up-tempo offense and how the Tigers are prepared to handle that.
This is a team that has good quality youth, but also has a number of transfers, guys from Baylor and TCU, and they're capable. We're going to have to play well. And one thing about it is watching their film certainly tells you that you'd better be ready to play because they go up.
Now, Johnny, you heard what head coach Les Miles had to say. Now, I want you to tell us a little bit about the Bearcats from Sam Houston.
You know, they've been a perennial FCS power for the past couple of years. 2 years ago, lost in the FCS championship game to North Dakota State. Everyone knows that the Bison are the best team in FCS, three times national champions, but a high-tempo offense, a high-tempo coach that likes to run that offense very quickly. Some defensive issues that we saw in their Week 1 loss against Eastern Washington, where they had that solo week where they were the only college football game going on. But, you know, a high-tempo offense that LSU is going to have to adjust to. We've seen LSU have problems with high-tempo teams in the past, and you never know with the weather. Will the weather slow down Sam Houston State? Are they going to be able to keep on rolling with their offense no matter what goes on?
And now, Pat, we know that Sam Houston is a severe underdog in this game. Now, what do they have to do? Anything. Give me something that the Bearcats can do to maybe have a hint at an upset tonight.
I think, Morgan, if I'm Sam Houston State, the first thing I'm doing is I'm running a hurry-up offense. I'm pushing the tempo from the get-go. Like I said earlier, the Tigers struggle against the run early on, and Sam Houston State has amassed, I think it's 1,227 yards of total offense over their first 2 games. So they can get the ball downfield, and I think that with a young LSU defense, sort of inexperienced, working new players back into the mix tonight, I think that that's the key to the game for them, push the tempo.
And that up-tempo offense, they've already averaged well over 100 yards, 100 plays per game in their first 2 games. Johnny, what about that?
Make no mistake, LSU has been pushed in recent years by FCS teams. Towson 2 years ago pushed the Tigers early. Furman last year pushed LSU early. There's no reason why Sam Houston State can't push LSU early on in this game. They're going to try to punch LSU right in the mouth to start the game off. It depends on how LSU can respond to that initial surge by Sam Houston State and react and adjust for the rest of the game. The Tigers are by no doubt the most talented team on the field tonight, but Sam Houston State, can they be the hungrier team on the field tonight?
They've got to start strong. They cannot get themselves in a hole early on. But guys, it's time for another break. But after we come back, Johnny Lombardi sits down with head volleyball coach Fran Flory right here on set for a live interview. Stick around.
Hi, welcome back to the Tiger TV Tailgate Show, and we are pleased to introduce our first guest of the semester, LSU women's volleyball head coach Fran Flory. Coach, thank you so much for joining us here on the desk. Now, before we get to the volleyball season, we'll talk a little bit about football. What's your favorite part about LSU game days? If you could choose anything, what's your favorite part?
You know, the game is absolutely the best part for me. I grew up in the stadium, sit on the 50-yard line with my family tickets, and you know, the whole atmosphere is just amazing.
Shifting focus to your team, the volleyball team this season, your motto is compelled. What does that mean and what does that signify for the team?
You know, it's part of our leadership academy that we've started with Jeff Jansen, and Jeff is amazing. Compelled means we're going to just go the extra mile. It's kind of like lagniappe for Louisiana people. We just do a little extra, we go above and beyond, and make sure that no team outworks us, basically.
Now, there are household names in the volleyball program that everyone knows: Mallory Pardo, Helen Boyle. What's one player, or who is one player on your team this year that people may not know that will stand out and have a fantastic year for you guys?
You know what? I think we have a freshman that's kind of burst on the scene. That's Mimi Eugene, and she is special. Her stepbrother, Michael Eugene, played here football and transferred to Southeastern, but she is a great athlete, been involved in the USA program, has really done an amazing job preparing. She graduated, joined us in January, so she's got a little experience collegiately and has had a great start, and I look for her to be a candidate for Freshman of the Year in the league.
You all started off your season in West Lafayette, defeating South Florida, and then taking 2 top 15 programs to 5 sets. What does that mean for this team early on in the season to accomplish that? You
know, we knew that was going to be a tough tournament, and by design, because we have a veteran team returning. But a little disappointed in the loss to San Diego, who was 14 in the country preseason ranked. You know, Purdue was a great match. We played a whole nother level, and it was really a great match, great environment.
Coach, thank you so much again for joining us here on the Tiger TV Tailgate Show. The Tigers will open up their home schedule September 24th against the Kentucky Wildcats in the PMAC. We look forward to watching the volleyball team this season. We'll be right back here on the Tiger TV Tailgate Show to wrap things up.
Welcome back to the Tiger TV Tailgate Show, live in the Manship Building. Now, before we get to the keys, before the Sam Houston State LSU game here tonight, Death Valley, Johnny, there's a lot of other college action going on today. Give us an update. You know,
it's week 2, so there's a lot of non-conference games going on, but a real stunner going on. Eastern Washington, FCS Power, that beat Sam Houston State week 1, up 45-44 in the third quarter against Washington. Stanford leading USC 10-7. Ole Miss leading Vanderbilt 20-0. I'm sure Cindy Carter's real pleased about that one. Central Michigan knocked off Purdue 38-17. Alabama beat Florida Atlantic 41-0. Kansas State beat Iowa State 32-28, and Nebraska, with a late touchdown in the last minute, beat McNeese State 31-24 in a heartbreaker for the Cowboys. So tough loss there for McNeese, but you know, great day of college football. Obviously that Oregon-Michigan State game coming on later tonight, and Notre Dame, Michigan, and of course the Tigers.
It's back, baby. That's all. It's right in action. It's going on every day. It's great.
Now, Johnny, while all those games are going on early this morning, my Tiger TV 4 more years co-host Joe Hagan and I decided to go out and check out a bunch of tailgaters and put a little video together for you guys.
Any other comments or concerns you want to raise? Oh, the trailer doesn't like LSU parking either. QEP hooligans, apparently. How long have you guys been tailgating?
Probably about 6 years now. We've been here for... Go Carey!
And we got one more question. Who do you think will win the game today?
Who's going to win?
I think LSU.
I think you're right. That's a good pick.
That's what I'm hoping for. We're just hanging out. He's a big Sam Houston State fan. So, Robbie, why do you like Sam Houston State, bud?
Because my mom went there.
Your mom went there? And do you think Sam Houston State's going to win the game today?
What is your food of choice today, Carter? What you eating, bud?
We got burgers and boudin. So
Burgers and boudin, the 2 B's, man. That's what they always say.
Over here on the grill, we're with the Barefoot Bandits.
Very nice. And what are the Barefoot Bandits? What do you guys do?
Tailgate Brigade. We take our shoes off at the end of every game.
Patrick, that was actually pretty hilarious. I just got to say, I'm jealous that you got to do that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of crazy tailgaters out there. A lot of kids who are excited for the game. A lot of kids who are also shy in front of the camera.
That's true.
But you can check out the full video at lsureveille.com. It was a lot of fun, so I think you're going to love it.
Oh, yeah, you definitely will. Now, guys, game time.
Oh, boy.
We're about an hour and a half outside of kickoff real quick, so it's time to focus on the Sam Houston State Bearcats and the LSU Tigers. Now, Johnny, what is your key after last week's comeback victory for Wisconsin? how do the Tigers get focused and come back to this game and get a victory here tonight in front of the home crowd?
You know, we talked about it in one of our opening segments. The offensive line struggled against Wisconsin. If the offensive line can impose their will and physicality on a smaller Sam Houston State team, LSU will be able to use those 3 running backs to run the ball dominantly. The offensive line is my key to the game.
And now, Pat, what about you?
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, Morgan, they struggled with the run defense early on against Wisconsin, so I think it's all about stopping the run. Sam Houston State has a lot of speed. They can push the ball downfield. I think our defensive backs can really handle the wide receivers well, so I don't think that's going to be the issue. The run defense needs to get their act together if LSU hopes to be successful for the rest of the season.
A lot of transfers from other schools, Baylor, Texas Tech, Colorado. So while it may not be a walk in the park, you know, the Tigers should handle, especially with Rashard Robinson, like you just said.
Absolutely.
Now, Johnny, on the other side of the ball for the Bearcats, what can they do to ensure a little bit of a hit of an upset tonight here in Death Valley?
With their high-tempo offense, they need to have a fast start. Like I said, last 2 years, LSU has struggled early on against FCS teams in Death Valley, Towson and Furman. If Sam Houston State can get a score early or a big play and, hold LSU at bay, the weather is going to be a huge factor as well. We'll see how that pans out. But if they can hold LSU at bay and have a fast start, they'll have a chance.
And Pat, we know you're a big fan of underdogs. What does Sam Houston State have to do, kind of going off what Johnny said?
Yeah, I said it earlier and I'll say it again. High tempo, that's what they need to do. They need to push the LSU defense, keep them on their toes, and with Jared Johnson and Keyshawn Hill at running back, I think that they can do just that. And I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair early on.
And now, we've gotten both your keys to the game for both the Bearcats and the Tigers. It's time for a final game predictions. Now, I think the line is, 38.5 for LSU tonight, Johnny, which is pretty steep there. But Johnny, give us your score.
That is a very steep spread there for the LSU-Sam Houston game. But I'm going to go 49-13 Tigers. I think LSU will have. It'll be a slow start early. It'll be interesting to see how that first quarter goes. But I think LSU will assert their dominance and their talent and eventually pull away.
Score?
49-13 Tigers.
I like that. Well, like I said, LSU struggled early on against overlooked opponents, so I think that they're going to get it together, and coming out of the gate, their offense is going to be hot. I have Tigers 37-10.
And now it's getting a little rowdy up in here. The game is about to start. We've got the cheerleading squad in here. It is game time, getting close to it. But guys, a little bit of my prediction. I think the Tigers know Wisconsin was a tough game last week, but I do think, Les Miles said earlier this week, the Tigers, they're feeling right. Practices are going well. Everything's going right for the Tigers. So I think they're going to come out here. They're not going to play down to the competition. They're going to start strong. I've got 40-10 LSU. And with that, that is our first Tiger TV Tailgate show of the semester. I'm Morgan Beard alongside Pat Gunther and Johnny Lombardi. Be sure to keep up with everything LSU related on TigerTV.tv. Thank you guys for joining us.